Matchless engine, but that's okay. Compression's probably up a little bit. This thing's definitely got a little bit more performance than the old 650 Matchless twin. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eric here with Nasty Rider coming at you. Another beautiful day in New Hampshire. Feels great. Out here this morning on 1966 Matchless G15. Sweet motorcycle. Following my father, he's on a 59 HAS. It's fun coming back east and seeing all the old architecture, seeing all the history, and especially riding old bikes. The engine's a Torker, 750 Norton twin, parallel twin. Guy was fishing with a big old chunk of meat on a hook. That'll catch something. Looks like it's high tide right now. The Norton engines were known for performance back in the day, Norton and Triumph.
Fuel is fed by twin Amel 389 monoblock carburetors. They have Siamese float bowls. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but the one fuel tap comes out of the tank, feeds the float bowl, which feeds the other float bowl on the other side. So as long as the floats are synchronized and set correctly, you don't really have to worry about syncing the carburetors, which is a nice thing. Jets are in the base. Idle adjustment screw.
Oh yeah, she's got some balls. She got some tech. The suspension on this is 66. It's noticeably better from even 5 years earlier. I don't know if that's because Norton was using Norton suspension parts or what, but you can tell it's got a lot less bottoming. The forks are good. There's not a whole lot of dive when you slam on the front brakes. It's good. It's firm, but comfortable, sporty.
Here's where you'd set your shock preload if you wanted to, carrying passengers or a lot of luggage. You could turn this with the spanner and it makes this little tit sit in each one of these notches. Ignition's driven by a Lucas K2F magneto right here. It's got an automatic advance. As I said, it's a one down, one up, three down moto style shift pattern. You can see the old gear indicator markings right there.
The controls, the seating position's good, ergonomics. The seat is plenty soft. I don't know if it was reformed or I'm sure it was reupholstered since 67, but I don't know if it's the original foam or not. A lot of times the original foam's okay. Where your hands fall, it's very comfortable, but these are not the original bars. The original bars would have been a little lower, little flatter coming out. These are like mini ape hangers, I guess you'd call them. They do make for a more comfortable ride, although I don't really like the looks of them. I found out it is all original. It was a barn find from Western Massachusetts. So it's all Matchless running gear, Matchless frame, Matchless tank, Matchless seat, wheels, Norton 750 twin engine. What else we got for control? Like I said, this is the choke. Here's your kill button. This is wired down to the magneto. Horn. Light, high beam, low beam. Let's see if the horn works. Yep, horn works. Cool. Shifter and the brake. Of course, the shifter's on the proper side, on the right side. One up, three down. Moto shift pattern. One thing I like about the Norton versus the Matchless is the twin gauges, plus the ammeter gauge up here. You got amps in the center on the headlight, right here. Speed on the left, tach on the right. And the speed shakes a little bit from the speedo drive cable. The tack is rock solid, and it's kind of nice. I mean, you don't really need to know what RPM you're spinning at. You can feel it, especially with these old bikes. With any bike, you can feel where the sweet spot is. You can feel when you're lugging the engine. You can feel when it's time to shift, but it's kind of fun to know what the engine's spinning at.
As I said on the ride, got your tachometer, speedometer, ammeter, headlight switches right here. There's a little lock. It looks like fork lock. Kill switch, choke. These fat grips were common back in the 60s. Fat in the center kind of makes it a little more comfortable. Front drums, rear drum brakes, rear brake on the left.
The brakes? Oh, just lock the rear a little bit. Let's see if we can do it again. Yeah. Rear brake works well. Front brake works well. They're stiff. Very stiff. But they're drum brakes from 1966.
Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt my ride and interject for just a moment to go over and clarify a few things about the Matchless G15. Also go over some motorcycle history regarding AMC. Matchless Cycles was founded in 1878 by Henry Herbert Collier. Later the company was renamed Associated Motorcycles in 1938. AMC was the parent company to a lot of historic British motorcycle marques, including Matchless, AJS, Norton, Sunbeam. In the late 60s, the sales were declining. Japan had moved in and taken over a big chunk of the market. The writing was kind of on the wall for a lot of British marques. AMC decided to focus more exclusively on the bigger Norton twins at the time and also the Matchless AJS singles. They decided to focus a lot of their sales on the American desert racing circuits that were popular at the time. In the late 60s, AMC produced a lot of motorcycles which are known as, quote, parts bin specials. Parts bin specials bikes were motorcycles that were produced using parts from different lines under AMC, including Norton, Matchless, AJS. The G15 in particular had a matchless frame, Norton chrome 18-inch wheels. It used the Norton Atlas engine, not to be confused with the Norton Commando engine. The Commando engine was slanted forward to 750, which was a little sportier, more powerful. The Matchless G15 shared its engine with the Norton Atlas model. They were both more road-oriented, open road-focused, touring-built machines. The Matchless G15 was produced between 1964 and 1969. With poor sales initially on the G15, AMC decided to produce the G15 CSR, which was the scrambler version, between 1966 and 1969. Eventually, AMC went belly up in 1969. The company was reorganized a number of times after that to include the Norton and Triumph names, with help from the British government. So the Matchless G15 and G15 CSR was a last-ditch effort and final model to be produced under the Matchless name.
Air cleaners on the outside on these later models makes changing the air cleaner, cleaning the air cleaner a lot easier. Factory toolkits in here. Alright, what do we got? Various spanners and wrenches. Everything on these old bikes is British standard Whitworth sizes. That looks like it's for adjusting a shock preload, possibly. Looks like spoke wrench. Got a double-sided tire spoon. Another tire spoon. You always need two to change a tire anyway. This is a factory tire inflator pump that came with a lot of these models. Most of them don't work anymore, but it's nice to have it on there for the original look.
The thing is, riding an older motorcycle, you know, I like to go over specifications and how each system on the motorcycle works and what I think of it and compare it to others. But with all these old bikes, it's really about the experience. I mean, you're not riding it because it's got top of the line radial mounted Brembo brakes or Olin's race suspension or whatever. You're riding it because it's a sweet old ride, and you know, you want to get out and just putt around on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and you get that whole experience of, you know, trying to start it, struggling to start it. You know, you might break down. You want to make sure you bring tools with you. These things are not the most reliable motorcycles in the world. I probably wouldn't buy something this old for a daily commuter.
This is a sidecar mount, rear sidecar mount, along with another one on the other side.
You start it, you get fuel on your finger. You might get oil on your pants. I don't know, but that's not what it's all about. You have to appreciate all the little nuances.
The chain tension is set by pivoting the transmission. There's a set screw underneath that turns the transmission and sets the drive chain tension, which does not change the tension on the primary chain inside here. Clutch is right here, stator and rectifier inside there. This is tachometer drive running into one of the gears there. Horns directly on the other side, on the left side of the bike. One thing to note that's kind of interesting, because they use a Norton engine with a matchless frame, it looks like they just made adapter plates here to adapt the mounting points.
I guess as it is with all motorcycles, you're buying them for the emotion. It's a emotional experience, a cathartic experience riding any motorcycle. It's very rare that someone just buys a motorcycle because they want the fuel efficiency to get back and forth to work, and that's it. Because you can get the fuel efficiency out of a car. You can buy a Prius, but you don't get the emotional experience out of a Prius. And these older bikes definitely evoke an emotional experience unlike a modern motorcycle.